Did you know thousands of PhD students get rejected every year, not because their ideas are bad, but because their research proposals are weakly written? And I don't want that to be you. I'm going to tell you exactly how to write a research proposal for a PhD that stands out and gets accepted. In today's video, we will see how to write a research proposal, the different parts of a research proposal, how the structure of a research proposal should be, what are the different formatting guidelines while writing references, what are the different guidelines you have to keep in mind for writing other different sections, which are the different formatting guidelines you have to keep in mind. And in the end, I will share a real life example of a research proposal written by a student. You will exactly know how a proposal should be written. I keep making videos about topics relevant to your PhD, whether it is research proposal writing, whether it is publication writing, whether it is what are the different tools and software that you need for your success in your PhD. I post thrice a week. So I would really appreciate if you could take a moment to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notifications. Moving on with the video, let's start with what are the different components of a research proposal. So before we come to the research proposal, first I would like to share about a one-page document that you need to give, which is summary of the research proposal. This document is of one page. It is different from the main research proposal. It has your name and ID, place of research work and organization, proposed supervisor and qualification, designation and organization. You need to write about proposed topic of research, objectives of the proposed research, maximum 25 words, background, methodology and expected outcome. Since you are submitting your research proposal for the first time for the other person to get an idea, to get a gist, this summary is required. My personal suggestion is to write the research summary after you have finished writing the main research proposal. However, while submitting, you will have to give the summary first, followed by the written research proposal. So now let's move on to the structure of a research proposal. Here we are coming to the main document that is required for you to tell your PhD topic to everyone. First, we have proposed topic of research. Then we have the objectives. Then we have the background of the proposed research. Under this, there are three separate headings. And when we go into the detail, I will explain you each section and how to write that in detail. Methodology. Then we have the work plan. And finally, we have the references. So now that you know each heading under a research proposal, let's go one by one in detail. Firstly, why is it called the proposed topic of research? The topic that you have finalized is for now. This is the one which you will work on for next 5 years. There are chances that based on your research and based on your results that you get, the topic may be modified. So in such cases, it is considered as proposed work of research. It should be written in title case. That means it should be written in all caps. Also, it should not be really lengthy. There are 4 components for this. The proposed title of the project, your name, your supervisor's name, your institution's name, and your department. When we move on to the objectives of the research, firstly, this should not be a direct repetition of the title. The next thing that I want to say is your objectives need to be specific. Usually for PhD, there are 4 to 5 objectives, and under that, there are different subheadings. You need to discuss with your supervisor to come up with exact objectives and how you are going to go about this. When it comes to background of the proposed research, there are 3 components under this. First is introduction. If somebody is not from your field and he is reading a research proposal, then how you are going to convey that topic to others? This will be around 250 to 300 words. While formulating introduction, I want you to go through these 5 topics. First is who could have interest in this topic, whether it is scientists, policymakers, how much is already known about this topic, what is missing from the current knowledge of your topic, what new insights can your research contribute, and why you believe this research is worth doing. The next heading is the literature review. The literature review will have references, okay? Introduction also may have references, but literature review is more exhaustive. Also, it is more lengthier. You can go up to 1500 to 2000, 2500 words for this. In a good literature review, what you do generally is you maintain a narrative. When I say you maintain a narrative, whatever is your present topic, no, you contrast it to different techniques. Okay, and there are three ways of doing that. First, you can compare and contrast main theories, methods, and debates. What are the different arguments about your topics, whether it is for or against, that you can contrast. Secondly, I want you to examine the different approaches, the positive as well as negative, the strengths as well as weakness of the approach. Every technique or every theory has a positive and a negative. What is there in the literature that explains these points? You can also explain how you will build on a particular technique or a particular program. Either you will go against it and synthesize your own technique, or you will go with the flow and find out how this particular program or this particular topic will evolve and work in the favor of the society. Now you have given introduction, then you come to literature review, but then what are the different things which are pending in the topic that you are going to fulfill? What work has not been done and where your work is coming to fill in that gap? Moving on to methodology. Methodology will describe the exact protocols, the exact amounts, the exact strategy that you are going to use for your research proposal. In the first paragraph, you are going to mention about the exact infrastructure, exact facilities, and exact techniques that you are going to need for your research proposal to be conducted in a very smooth manner. Then you start describing everything phase-wise. Which are the different phases? This only your topic can decide. Okay. Phase 1 would obviously be a literature survey, and the last phase, whether it is phase 5 or whether it is phase 6, that would be thesis writing and thesis submission. Phase 2 to phase 5 would be all your experiments divided into phases and write it as per the different phases of your research proposal. Moving on to the work plan. Now, what is the difference between a work plan and methodology? Work plan is a pictorial depiction. That means it's a histogram of different phases involved. I'm showing you a picture of a work plan, and it would be more clear once we actually go through the real life example of a research proposal. So don't worry about this at all at this stage. The next heading, of course, is the references. You will have 15 to 20 references for a research proposal. These references have to be more journal references and they have to be latest. Make sure that your references are within a 5-year limit. Okay. Max, you can go back up to 10 years, but do not go beyond that. Let the examiner know that we have considered a recent literature while coming up with this topic. So now I will take you through the different formatting styles that need to be required in a research proposal. As far as your whole research proposal is concerned, use these styles for the entire proposal from start to finish. Here, page orientation would be portrait, page size would be letter or A4 size. Margins, you leave 1 inch from all sides. Headings would be Times New Roman, bold, 14 font size and title case. Subheadings would be Times New Roman, 12 points and bold. The text of the body should have Times New Roman, 12 points, and it should be justified. And spacing would be 1.5 lines are usually sufficient. Each page will have Arabic numbering and it will be in the bottom at the center of the page. The entire proposal could be 10 to 12 pages. Now, the formatting guidelines that I've just explained are used in most of the cases in most of the institutes. When you are submitting your proposal in the final, make sure that you follow the guidelines of your institute. Each institute may have a different guideline, right? So you follow that and write your proposal as per that. Now your proposal would have tables. So for tables, number your tables consecutively in the order of their first citation in the text. The heading of each table will go above the table. Okay, and for figures, it will go below the figure. This is the standard format that is used not just in a research proposal, but also in grants and also in publications. And if there are any footnotes, then they have to be avoided. So you give a clear one heading for a table. Don't want multiple headings. At this stage, you will not have figures of your experiments because your experiments have not started. So when you are getting figures from literature, what is the source of that figure that you need to mention? Letters, numbers, and symbols on figures should be clear and uniform throughout. And figures should be numbered consecutively in an order which they have been first cited in the text. What this means is, if you have explained figure 1 first in your text, then figure 1 should appear first in your entire proposal. How you are going in the text, same order you follow while presenting your figures. Measurements of length, height, weight, and volume should be reported consistently throughout the proposal. And use standard abbreviations, avoid abbreviations in the title. Let's move on to the references. Now, first thing, references have to be consistent, okay, throughout. If you are using a particular style in introduction, use the same style in literature review as well. 12 to 20 references are required. You can go up to 25, 30. 60% of your references need to come from journal articles rather than book chapters or conference proceedings, because that is the thing that will strengthen your literature review. So if you take a journal article, the name of the authors come first, then the name and title of the paper or your publication, then name of the journal, okay, then the year, and then you have other details related to page number and edition and stuff like that. Then we have all these formats for journal articles, which is book chapters, conference proceedings, scientific or technical report, patent, CD-ROM, monographs, or databases on the internet. You can also refer other students' PhD dissertation or thesis. All these styles are mentioned here. You can definitely pause the video and have a look. Now, what use is all this information if you are not able to see a real life example of a research proposal? This is the summary of a student, and you can see exactly it is not more than one page. Okay, this is how it looks like. It has all the components and topics which are required. Moving on to a typical research proposal, you have the details such as name, proposed title, supervisor details, your details, then your topic of interest, objectives, background of the proposed research. Then you have the literature. You can see how it is written. There are diagrams which are given, and these diagrams are referenced in the references section. Then you have the gaps which are written in existing research. Then you have the methodology which is given phase wise. So phase 1 to phase 6 is generally considered for this particular proposal. I want you to take a note of the work plan. It is a kind of histogram or a bar diagram. And then you have the references and other details. So that was it about today's video, but watching is not enough. Start drafting your proposal today. Don't wait for last minute. If you are interested in research writing, then I have done another video about anatomy of a publication, a research publication. Once you write your research proposal and get admission to your PhD, the next thing obviously is a research publication. What are the different components of it? What is the word limit? How you have to write each section? Everything has been detailed in this particular video. If you found today's video useful, share it with just one person for whom this could be of utmost value. I'll see you in this video. Till the next one,